Hello, good afternoon. Today is 10th of April 2023 and we're going to discuss important news articles from the Live Min and the Indian Express. The first, ako ngarang si yung OPEC production gi crude oil production cut to bodo adogi matang gani. Context to khange ko moina decide to OPEC plus countries na voluntary oil production cut to guni Delhi the 1.16 million barrels per day. Natra si cut to guni haibani. How this will impact the economy of India? Number one, see khang ba mathok tai because India the obviously impact like because we are dependent on crude oil imports. Nearly 85% of crude oil import ne koi mapan gi loksal because our domestic supply se fulfill to bangam deba koi gi laiba demand se ko. And aduga OPEC plus koi na in general OPEC ki yeng tadi moina serve tawje 3.7% of global demand ni. Sigi poche supply se handrakta di demand di dum hanai du laiduni aduna crude oil price te hengalakani ko hana price am ta tharamendra ko nangi Brent crude oil bog da $75 per barrel da ko lakri do ko kai maram gi no ko ngarang gi ngare production cut to wi maram ko moi global economic recession lakpa de short selling kamu penalize to bogi ne kaina du gi speculation su laina tra de gi on the way in the wake of Russia Ukraine conflict sida global instability like pa natra siguma ma'am high gre koi nang nang gre to nangi kano se economic kano aduga banking sector da lai crisis natra sigu ma'am ge economic dynamics se yenga mo na sig decision se lo banina hojik lai trend se kaino crude oil prices se Russia Ukraine war la matung da $78 per barrel hai January 2022 to ko even yam thi wang gre $120 po gyo green ko declining demand lakpudo crude oil ki ko adu gumba legiba India ka impact legani obviously impact legani 85% of crude oil se ko dependent oil requirement ko import ta and the gi import bill jong 0.4% of GDP ni based on crude oil only common people impact legitra yes laita ni ko for in the short term crude oil price laita di nangi diesel petrol prices changes lakani there will be cost push inflation because of the rising input costs petrol price to hengalakta di output production cost to 100 and it will be reflected in the outputs aduga financial imbalance thokpa yabagi chances like government kai to bi government lay say in the short term akoi Russia the yang tam ni we are procuring discounted crude oil prices on the based on our negotiations bilateral negotiations. Second, long term strategy the mahize government should focus on alternative energy sources and building better roads aduga akoi and even petroleum products say within the ambit of the GST goods and service tax ta sibo considered to be hai energy efficient oiba vehicle seasonaba ecologically driving culture inculcate to mathau ta hai kon as a long term measure so sini news se next article sida expert panel huzik ki kanu ko khoi India da class 9th 10th and then 11th 12th ki examination process aduga mogi tambagi mawong matong se kitang hong ani ko huzik draft test of the lady official oidri national curriculum framework ano wala kib do ko nahan ji expert panel amana issue to do aduga sigi notification draft notice to adugi basic premise se kain ha kanda arts science and commerce ki laiba boundary rigid boundary se adugi lothok na bhon na ko to remove the borders ado next step se akoi teachers empowerment chu mathok tai na se article haibini nan expert panel ama appoint to central government to look into the long overdue restructuring of the school education system ko sigi committee sina pre-draft haidana release tawi national curriculum framework amako and it has invited for public feedback on recommendations no ju pamta di email address lebin the respond taw ko sida tawdu se senior secondary students like 11 12 ke students se moi the freedom am lai dune ko angang 11 12 student ka ba sing moi hana di lai dana is arts na arts khiba commerce na commerce khiba science na science at kiba adu do lai roi dune ko mix approach lai dune ko arts commerce and science multidisciplinary approach haiba aruga nahan release story by NCM curriculum multidisciplinary approach this is in line with the national education policy 2020 target ki lai objectives ka align to hai ko NCF की proposal से basic तौर से अखोई हुजिक 11 12 हाकन 11 लोरकान एग्जाम अमा 12 लोरकान एग्जाम लेदना अदो हुजिक तौर से 11 फजन इन डिटेल ले यांकनी को अमुका 11 गा 12 को से सिदा सेमेस्टर वाइज तौर एग्जाम अनि को and even same goes for class 9 da budi amam mudi lai duni bo khambra aduga keno moi curriculum ai phajan detail on ha curricula nipan thono khaido ni nipan de gi khan ba ya duni ka subject angang da credit based choice based system lai duni in classes 10 to 12 through examination over 4 years and not one board exam every year ko le adumain le roib ko keno oni le ni ba holistic oni yeng duni the vision of holistic education mapung oni yang podo ko and aduna well adugi sigi changes se khona implement to targadi it will call for well designed textbooks ko adugan han ncf approach ta implicit oin urise the greater role for the teacher si suni ko aduga rigid boundary leiba nangi between arts science and commerce se adu do lokthok no bhona ni because minor rigid oin thamta ki it do not provide the a student the foundational knowledge to deal with the more pressing challenges of today because nang na climate change or other environmental crisis ki matang de education ku matam ge hairo khala si combat to gara nang policy making de la ka you have to understand the politics the prevalent laws mechanism the constitutional rights articles na economics khang batai sociology khang batai social preference as well as other disciplines natra multidisciplinary approach ma khang ku mathau tai ba hojik ki leiba 21st century challenges and dynamics se sigi the study to ge haidari same goes for economy ko economy khang ge haidari nange commerce ki khang mathau ta de you have to understand the human behavior psychology philosophy basis la kani aduga for industrial revolution the hojik significance of humanity studies se sisu several research papers in underline tawni aduna neba nangi akhogi national education policy 2020 nan magi release torpada a complete overhaul and re-energizing of the higher education system ka lai ko we're moving towards a more multidisciplinary undergraduate education adugi groundwork to ncf na same na bo hotnai na haibeni ko at this school level handaki new draft ncf to nako araga even mathematics to sungaire hojik laiba current methods of assessment mechanical computation oiba calculation based obse oiroi ano bol lagta di play activity discovery and discussion based learning at the primary school level adugum hogdo no honare ko man lo sharak bazai chumi hojik laiba ncf ki se pre draft stress ni and it calls for several rounds of discussions aduga maru oina khoi teachers gi reform na suma thau tai sin ko ma haije for example education ministry of education gi data matung ina more than a lakh government school da hujik lai only one teacher lai ya aduna teacher gi vacancy issue ma'am lai ko and as well as teacher training suma thau tai ba ko aduna hujik khoi ta instructor teachers lai je moi learning se creative exercise oina ba nep ncf da yaw je fajana fulfill oi ma thau tai therefore we need to empower the teacher natra asigum basna hay reform to bring the reforms in the education sector sige mari le na article da amuk han mamur ta na khan to ncf 2023 in detail le yang se khuje changes porak pado international curriculum framework 2023 draft what are the proposals in the school education system okay handa sida hai ko india gi school education system se major restructuring am tawdore because of the recommendations of an expert committee appointed by the union government ko sina hai se hujik lai riba kaino se 11 12 ke exam se ani rak to sin chahim da test 1 test 2 ko semester gi tap semester 1 semester 2 semester 1 2 gi tap argo student the freedom pigani ko moi science logera humanities logera or commerce logera ko sigi committee se kana let to bono chairperson ke kasturi rangan ko the ncf hai se kaino what is the national curriculum framework ncf hai se ko ncf se mamang da 2005 the last one revised to give ni ko is the document ni and sigi document se da yumpham oirga ne ba koi hujik india da lai school textbooks ncrt textbook ka prepared to ri ko aduna noi ncrt ba matam da national curriculum framework ki matang da preface ama yaw ru like ki mamang da that is the ncf ko curriculum am same ne ba aduga kai na propose lai ba changes se number 1 class 9 diging so class 9 10 gi hairo dai du si do ko class 9 10 se chahi ani ni ko sida angang sina tam du se purana 16 course tam ne hai 16 subjects hairo ne ko sigi 16 course se 8 curricular area da yumpham oi du ne ba kai 8 curricular area ko samna number 1 da humanities layer ni ko language ka yarani literature language even manipuri kan next the mathematics and computing ko number 1 like mathematics and computing number 2 mathematics and computing like third vocational education ko fourth physical education arts mathang da fifth social science interdisciplinary as sigumba broad curricular area nipan sigi nangna tra truk khandui ko class 9 da nipan ama class 10 da nipan ama 8 plus 8 16 ni dana ko sumain tor ganang assess tawni ba adu tadi yo loi link leina dra class 9 10 je loina continuum system ki type to utra adu huji lai ba current system de lete class 9 class 10 11 12 haidi yamna keno oidana rigid oibo tight ona separate to bodo holistic oide dana education do aduga hujik lai de class 10 da subject manga maths nangi english alternative english science literature manipuri adwain tawdro adwaina aduga aduna class 9 10 lani chamana 11 ga 12 ko da su ke dawni sida su 16 8 curricular area hujik kai ko sida gi nipan ama class 8 11 da sida class nipan punna 16 courses ko hujik lai di class 12 to kene CBSE da 5 maximum 6 ka laitra aduna ke dawra multidisciplinary education lai aduga exam su ke dawni chahim da anirak semester wise ki type the college ki type ko aduna multidisciplinary approach ni holistic form of education ni lai se ko akoi gi national education policy 2020 da hai no hard separation among arts humanities and science to adu do fulfill to no khon na re ado angang macha gi di kamai to ba akoi 19 11 12 ki di yengre aduga angang macha younger students ki di kamai to ba foundational level for example chahi nipan dagi chahi ohum dagi nipan suba angang gi di kamai to ba aduga preschool class to gi da moi gi na ke da play based hana ba da am focus to sana learning activity do experiential learning aduga play based pedagogical approach suggest tawi ado class 1 da nangi toys puzzles manipulatives ko class 3 4 5 children da nangi language and mathematics ki textbook introduce tawni activity discovery based approach 6 7 8 da natural as well as social science lani ado 19 11 12 ki ko aduga specific subject ki matang da NCF ta zukhara pali ko nangi keno tawna ba haidi for example maths ka se yam ki ba poche koi lokthok na bi dam ta nangi play based activity discussion based learning adu maina ga hai ko changes se kran gan la ka ni kai gumba changes se implement tau ga hai tar ga di yanar hai tari 2024 to 25 session mathang se di horani design budi hujik phok do lak ga aduna noine feedback pinning da su sigi email sida thau ko noi opinion lai da di government is inviting discussions next the sigi saying so LIGO India ge se ko gravitational wave ke ni ko LIGO India se see India gi Indian node or ni ko koi global network of labs ta to detect and study gravitational waves ko gravitational waves khang nang na puki da leitum lang dara kan ising gi concentric circle wave thok dra cha mana domain tok dana fabric of space time the gravitational wave level distortion level because of the gravitational force that is gravitational wave LIGO se hujik India da lak tore ko magi function to bhok dore Maharashtra gi Hingoli district ta aduni India da koi cutting edge scientific facility ambuk lai binatri and this is the first time we are having on such a scale ko aduna India gi science and technology sector da anoba spin off benefits mayam la kani sne ko LIGO se kamai function tawi sida yawre ko nang mirror yawre sida laser yam thoyong na in detail da keno budi oi binat da yam advanced high level of physics ne sida beam splitter ko sida basic schematic diagram ni LIGO interferometers ki ko sida gravitational wave to keno tok duni detect tok duni interferometer hai se kaino basic prelims sang ba ko scientific investigation tools ni moise investigate tawna ba sida light ki live source hai two or more sources of light se interference pattern nama same duni aduga measure tawdini analyze tawdoni interferometers ko these are scientific investigation tools that merge two or more sources of light to create an interference pattern that can be measured and analyzed so that is interferometer sigi interferometer haiba device se 1800 tagi lakpani and a lot of scientists have contributed fully developed of the 1960s ta American physicist scientists Albert Michelson and Edward Morley ko moina haibani a gravitational wave strand space time ne detect obagi interferometer se it can be a natural fit sijina ba yain ko because moida precise measurement ama pibe yai ba ko nangi light se na travel to le da moi phase change le ba along two perpendicular arms kai lai ko aduna hujik sijina ni ba even including LIGO da lai se Michelson gi interferometer ki optical configuration dune ba ko magi kai configuration number 1 interferometer se it comes in a variety of shapes and sizes adubu moi gi basic sigi machine sigi basic kano se device sigi kano se light se superimpose tawraga interference pattern ama same dune ko light se superimpose tawraga ko aduga laser interferometer se kai laser ama yawgani beam splitter yawgani series of mirrors photo detector ko interference pattern se record tawna bidam ta interference pattern hai se kaino nang yong aina hausi hai nang pukhi amda nungam tup lam dawne oda ke da concentric wave tawdro pukhi ama tup am lang do swaina interference to ko wave to intersection lay dan ko so they interfere each other interfere each other intersect each other ko aduga sina maram orga atopa ado bom sagalak pa na in ya natraga aso bom sagalak pa yai yam chawa wave ama natraga small wave sagalak pa yai or even no wave at all so that is interference adugi visual pattern do where the waves intersect is an interference pattern aduna interferometer ki context ta khoi yeng ta di two beams of laser light se merge tawrakanda ko moisu interference pattern ama same ko hojiki laser beam ani yauduri na ko adagi tholakpa laser light to merge tawrakanda interference pattern ama same gani adugi resultant pattern do it will depend on how well aligned the light waves are when they combine ko result se kai obi full form of brightness obi from darkness to some yam intense yam obi darkness obi ko dun kamaina no basina gravitation wave detect to du ta light na go see gravitation wave hai se khone khange ripples in the fabric of space time gravitation wave na space leiba khoi gi mitmang leiba space se direction amade stretch to wi adugo simultaneously perpendicular direction the compress to ba yam chawlan te yam big na ni to ko because black hole can oidar di ko aduna LEGO gi machine da yauri ba my interferometer gi one arm ama dikki da ha kan kitang longer oi thohan ba am compare to ba amaga yengna matam da ko aduga atop length ama gi arm na change tok da ba adumaina variation leiba poto variations in the length of the arm of the interferometer and aduga keno yengani aduma leire ko aduga kai hani ka yam technical budi ore ko aduga mafam kya lakpa yeng tu ni ko at a different times ta lakpa waves of light ki phase ka mai lai interfere to matam da arm ki leng do kya mu yam oscillate to wi vibrate to wi frequency ko are light ki flicker lakpra interferometer ki tholak pa ko aduni yeng adugumba myam do experimentally measure tawni and then scientists will determine ki gravitation wave to kya mu lakhi khot ki interfere kya lai gi to ko la adubu tasena interferometer ki length of arm da live changes to ya very minute oi ko ya big rajani 1/10,000 the weight of a proton hai aduni yam difficult oi ba keno lak matam da ko aduga LEGO da noise filter ga yawgoni ko so that we can gravitational wave to fajana keno detect to bong na adu government na ko aduni sini lai se magi keno se technical understanding concept se ko news se yang se government na nahan final go ahead am big India gi LEGO full form se ko laser interferometer gravitational wave observatory ko the clearing the way for the construction of the country's biggest scientific facility global project to join to duni ko to study the universe by detecting and studying the gravitational waves ko LEGO se international network of laboratories ni ko magi keno se space time the laiba ripples in the fabric of space time se detect to duni ko caused by the movement of large celestial objects stars planets ko see ripple se highly gravitational wave no thon ba ripple se ihan han Albert Einstein ki general theory of relativity the postulate to gimni ko that encapsulates our current understanding of how gravitation works ko LEGO India se kai de lagini Hingoli district Maharashtra da ko about 450 km east of Mumbai aduga magi operation se 2030 degi hogune he ko 2030 wa liko ta de ado question kharang is na gravitation se kaino Einstein ki general theory of relativity se kaino LEGO ki project se ki significance na kaino ko background yang se Newton law of gravitation si dekho loi tame na tra 9 10 11 12 ta 11 ta tame ko 9 10 12 ta tamte class 9 tra 9 11 ka ko English के mathematician Isaac Newton को 1643 1727 मान postulate तौर मनी को मा है अखोई की अर्थ ग्राउंड एनी ऑब्जेक्ट हमने स्वाइन तारक पसे अदुदा याव force तो that force is the same force that is driving the heavenly bodies to go around in the orbits को planet ना star ना उंगी बा पोचे अदुगी object अदुगी force को चप माने ना surface तारक को the force that makes any object fall to the ground is the force itself that makes the heavenly bodies go around in the orbits. So that was the principle. Aduna adugi phenomenon do mana closely observe tawre haraga mana kai hai tai universal live every celestial body se earth adagi other planets stars se moi the attractive force am exert tawe hai ni ko in universe ta aduga mana mathematical formula am puthorpone kai hai mana distance between two celestial bodies, the attractive force force of gravitation though between these two bodies is directly proportional to the masses m1 and m2 of the two body and inversely proportional to the square of the distance between them. Otherwise, the distance between them high got distance between the center of the mass high down to be very precise ko 1 by r square oidana khangi ko the gravitational force or the force of attraction between any two bodies is equal to the product is directly proportional to the masses of the two bodies and inversely proportional to the square of the distance between the center of the masses. So that is the Newton's law of gravitation. Aduga for more than 2 centuries sigi understanding say Newton ki law of gravitation it remained the the best understanding of how gravitation works ko adosina motion of all celestial objects explain tawangami my mathematical framework se adum chanai ba atopa nang observation to mutamna but they have been limitations and deficiencies and Newton's law Newton masamuk su khangi ko he himself acknowledged aduna magi limitations magi the mathematical principles of natural philosophy 1687 the mana high ko and magi contemporaries laiba scientists man su khangi ko number 1 deficiency se kain ha kan Newton gi theory sina it did not explain the reason for the existence of the attractive force between any two bodies kai maram gi no lai se force se explain to ngam deba kai maram gi no any piece of matter se attract to why what is the driving force behind the gravitation that he could not explain. Second problem se kamai lai ha kanda 20th century lai when Einstein developed the theory of relativity mana magi special theory of relativity gi putho matung as a consequence of that adugi major deficiency to khone Newton gi law of gravitation uba phange kai hai special relativity se 1905 ta lakpani and Einstein high say nothing can travel faster than the speed of light that is 3.0 into 10 to the power 8 meter per second. Any object or anything in the universe sidagi hen speed am ta laibi ya de sini kai je ado khona nangi gravitation si yang kan da di instantly heta work to mong udra aduna hani is again gravity gi gravitational wave ki natraga force of gravity ki speed of light ka manabra manadabra manai nadi ma'am thazane ko hoje current scientist sing na hai je ko instantaneous oidana ko aduni adugi poto ko keno tok deba aduna Newton gi keno da time gi factor se yaug deba it does not factor in the quantity of time ko kai no nangi yung earth ka sun gi attraction force laiba gravitation si sin ani art na ungi se revolve the sun da si se matam kyamuk yam da karamba matam dagi lai instant oibra oidabra instant on di uidana khone khang padege ever since the birth of the universe ever since the big bang happened. So time does not even figure in Newton's gravitational equation. So two major deficiencies. Number 1 kai maram gi no why this attraction happens. Second, time does not factor, it does not figure in the Newton's gravitational equation because gravitational forces seems to be instantaneously propagate over any large distance. So that understanding was a consequence of the Einstein's general theory of special theory of relativity after he published it in 1905. Now second question, general theory of relativity se kena khange koina 1905 tamana budi hai adugo sahi tara le matung 1915 da Albert Einstein ketang alter tawni ko to akhoi gi gravitation ki understanding se understanding of gravitation ketang alter tawga man hai se adugo kai puthe mana magi general theory of relativity se ko mana hana di high grade special relativity ko space and time se space ka time se independent entity natte tu na chamina ga yenga dongni haba khange ko space ka malang khoi gi hang base siga matam ga tu na chamina yenga dongni adu akhoi punna yenga dongni space time fabric swan noi uramgani documentary da ko swan ga tom ko space time fabric ta adu da nang achoba ball ma thamone sida ball sine heta ungba matam da magi arumba mass gi matung ina gravitational wave ti matung ina sida so changes laitro elongation and then the alteration later adu duni man explain tong no khonri ko ai chin hai de ya documentary ko makhara yong ko YouTube ta कमाइन एक्सप्लेन तौदुनो खंगदे से विजुअल रिप्रेजेंटेशन और खंगदौनी को अदुना आइंस्टाइन हाइजे खंगो स्पेस टाइम से पुन्नी यंगदौनी अदुगा मान हाइजे स्पेस टाइम से इट्स नॉट जस्ट ए पैसिव बैकड्रॉप टू द इवेंट हैपनिंग इन द यूनिवर्स याम नुंगाइबे सिंगो टॉपिक से को अदुना कई स्पेस टाइम से ना अदुगा लाइबे स्पेस टाइम फैब्रिक्स ना मैटर का इंटरेक्ट तौ मतमदा इवेंट मैम थोन बने सिने को it's just like a soft fabric nangi phi ma thamon in hado mo pa phi da kumba keno bolam thadra kan leng sigi magi movement do ung in ko swang ga to matam da adu na je soft fabric when response to a heavy object placed on it and curls around ko leng bukhot putaw idan soft fabric am the ball rumbam thamo adu experiment the experiment when a heavy ball is put on a soft fabric ko to understand the how the space time fabric works curvature the exact word is curvature called curvature in the space time so produce that is the result of the gravitational pull ko other gravitation has is just the curvature in space time so that is Einstein understanding gravitation has it's just a curvature in space time because of the mass and since the space time itself is curved around a heavier mass other nearby objects moving normally in straight lines we find okay yare khang ko central mass am the tringjan na bhonai habini and the mass wangi gai curvature wangani space time da mass p gai curvature picking the same theory is the understanding of a black hole the mass density am wang aduna ni mai curvature am wang edo ko adana Einstein na magi origin of gravitational force explain the wangam me and also the reason for the perpetual near circular motion of all heavenly bodies ko aduga magi model of gravity does not involve instantaneous propagation of force man high se expressively expansion it pulls towards the central mass ko Center of mass banana. And it happens at the speed of light. Einstein explained the wave. Now gravitational wave the distortion in the fabric ripples in the space time fabric in the fabric of space time just like nangi jahasamana ising the thorokanda ripple thopudo the mind tokdana just like when a boat moves through water it creates ripples so a heavier mass or a celestial object creates ripple in the space time itself aduna maram orga temporary deformation thon do the body do ko when it comes in contact space time to elongate to be or contract to be during the propagation of the gravitational wave and everything lying in that space time also goes through the same experience khangi ko shini aduna for example gravitational wave on earth pass to har kanda the earth gets squeezed in one direction and bulges in the perpendicular direction khangi ko aduga akoina yam limitation lai je gravitational wave se kai do determine to ngam than nang gravity se akoi gi nature the four fundamental force like kai no nuclear strong nuclear force weak nuclear force gravitational force electromagnetic force hariba mari simong the gravity is the weakest of all of them all the natural forces ko aduna gravitational wave ki deforming effects yam theina pieba ko aduna ne experimentally verify to boda matam yam sangi je koi technological challenge so laiba ko next LIGO se combine to high grade interferometer yawgoni ko mangon yaw do se 2-4 km long vacuum chambers yawgoni perpendicular to perpendicular in sare se ko perpendicular in sadra kilometer mari sangba vacuum chamber odini build perpendicular to each other and highly reflective mirror yawgoni placed at the end of the vacuum chambers ko to yaw end of vacuum chamber de yaw se ko sidai da aduga hit mirror da thongani reflect togani do capture togani light ray se ko adu gravitational aduga yong moina sigi light ray se simultaneously tharak to ne vacuum chamber de ko aduga mirror da tar kan reflect togani do ka normal circumstances ta dike light ray se adum hangini ba simultaneously adubu gravitational wave la kan da khangani ko light ray se vacuum chamber de thara ani adu capture torokan da moi gi normal circumstances ta di light ray se adum hangine ba but when a gravitational wave arrive encounters or kanda one of the chambers kitang elongate torokani aruga mana kitang squeeze torokani ba ko two chamber yawani one gets a little elongated and the other one get a little squeeze ko aduna light ray se simultaneously hala aroi ba sigi matam dari ko gravitational wave la kan di light ray do simultaneously hala aroi aduna phase difference am la ani ko sigi phase difference sini ko ki dam sigi phase difference na maram organi the detection of the gravitational wave happens see I'm precisely talk the be because okay ngasai 1 by 10,000 the weight of the proton ni oidu de adu bu LIGO instruments and the precise way they are able to pick up ko aduni aduga yung gravitational wave se ihan han bakang kan determine detect to 2015 the ko two US based LIGO detectors na produced by the merger of two black hole ko matam da black hole ani merge to bada puthorpa gravitational wave to ada detect to givini aduga ko adugi scientist to award oibo in 2017 da moi Nobel Prize su phangi ko physics ta LIGO India se kai maram gi no maru ori se because there is a fifth node of the international network of gravitational wave observatories and possibly the last ko yam sensitive oi hai aduna can easily be influenced by earthquakes, landslide or even the movement of trucks and produce a false reading ko aduna multiple observatories se mathau tai ba signal sing se revalidate tawna ba ko two detectors sing se bare minimum ne hai two detector yaw jena khoi to ko aduga India gi detector sina fifth node oi duni ko aduga two detector hai di observatory ani duni da ngasai duna vacuum chamber to nate hai je ko aduna India gi on the LIGO se momentous milestone ni and India se we have been in active collaboration in lot of the international science project like Large Hadron Collider, ITER, thermonuclear reactor, controlled nuclear fusion reactor adagi mathang da international space station lakani adasu India gi matam lor pa India na mating pambe ntra adagi India da huji for cutting edge scientific facility laiti sigum bam la pa yam kan duni India gi neutrino based observatory sage to bahai se ju delay lai na tra aduna LIGO gum la pa se it will demonstrate India's intent and capability to pull off complex science projects on its own ko sini laise atai sidi maru oidre myth to si pregnancy maming khangjalo pregnancy khoi gi abortion to bagi kano ne haidare guli ko US court ta khara issue lagi rights of the si je basic one haragi ko yam kesu maru obende si handak Supreme Court na kano to ba koi opposition party man pul khambra Supreme Court ta petition file to bone 14 opposition party na ko koi gi leader of opposition da moi gi law enforcement agency like CBI ka se fajana sijina crackdown to no khone na sida mana hariba article je kaino opposition se democracy ama function to matam da yam maru oi dissent hai se yam maru oi constructive criticism pi bada adon democracy cannot exist without a meaningful opposition either at the center or in the states ko aduni hai je aduna constitutional opposition ama adwaina ga mathau taina aduni hai je democratic functioning ama oina that is the basic essence man adu ada kochalaga ibani not very important si article se ken nahan akhoi yengre khar kuire ko Jammu and Kashmir da conman Kiran Bhai Patel amana na PMO gi official sarga to buni aduda security lu hol lebo ma'am do adu duni hai je ko aduda ma hai je of JNK gi official khudima accountable oigidau ni sine ko sidana nahan gi foreign trade nei free trade agreement 2.0 ko sida khatang criticize to ma je pre 1991 era du la abra kan ko India se hujik FTA free trade agreement sign to no ma'am negotiation to ko for example mamang gi in the last few years ta khoi FTA ma'am sign tawre United Arab Emirates and Mauritius ko and aduga Australia ga so aduga hujik India se currently we are negotiating FTAs with the UK, European Union, Canada. Aduni hai je ko aduga keno se trade in European Union, Canada, Israel sigasu currently negotiate tawriba khoi objective se keno to build global value chains aduga FTA signed or countries sing keno that to legalize the full gamut of international economic relations ko khoi economic relations faganaba FTA da binding international rules on trade and investment yawi na tra argo sigi rules yi makha da state na mogi instrument of international laws accept tong so that they can be held accountable for the sovereign conduct on trade and investment 2000 era da kon FTA ma'am sign to ko like Singapore, Korea, Malaysia, Japan sida sigi logic se koi follow to weba logic hai di koi binding rule lama follow to international trade liberalization ki ko protection of foreign maru na foreign investment se protect to guni na from arbitrary state conduct ko when the law may apply to law mogi interest to serve tawni khorina aduna sina FTA sign to kanda nangi foreign investors in a guarantee MP do ko noina kai go any issue like kanda you can approach the international treaty arbitration to settle disputes with the states like government ganima hai ko hujik FTA 2.0 approach ni india leise si matung ina India se decouple tawreba international trade law like international investment law ma'am se khoi si da yauja roina ko and for example nangi khoi India gi FTA sign to Mauritius, UAE, Australia ko se detailed international rules on trade yawi adubu rules on foreign investment protection di yaw deba aduna foreign investors sing protect to nabagi mechanism di yaw dev ko so there is absence of investment protection in these FTAs ko aduga si yam even more striking way kai gin hakan India se koi bilateral investment treaty leidana ko si se unilaterally terminate to India na 2020 da 19 ra to ko BIT से लेते नत्रा हजिक इंडिया FTA 2.0 लाक्टोसे हजिक मरु डोमेस्टिकेशन ऑफ II को इंटरनेशनल इन्वेस्टमेंट लॉ से को सिगी प्रोसेस व्हायर कंट्रीज लाइक इंडिया मागी डोमेस्टिक रूल लो सेमनी रादर देन फॉलोइंग इंटरनेशनल लॉ को टू प्रोटेक्ट फॉरेन इन्वेस्टमेंट को सीना हाइनिंग से कहीं IIL लेतादी कोई डोमेस्टिक लॉ लेतादी सॉरी डोमेस्टिक रूल सम लेतादी की दौबा डोमेस्टिक रूल है फॉरेन इन्वेस्टर्स की सेंटिमेंट्स मोगी इंटरेस्ट तो प्रोटेक्ट होना डोमेस्टिक रूल लॉस एंड मेकानिज्म लेतादी फॉरेन इन्वेस्टमेंट तो प्रोटेक्ट होनी बाय डूइंग टू थिंग्स फर्स्टली domestically legalizing legislating investment protection standards that are typically part of IIL ko masagi law semjaba second dispute resolution mechanism ama semba at the municipal level instead of treaty arbitration to mota ko local level da South Africa is a good example of that. South Africa is like 2015 da South Africa na moi bilateral moi keno se BIT bilateral investment treaty se law terminate togre ha kana moi domestic ki law ma seme ko Protection of Investment Act na ko to replace investment treaties as the key instrument for protecting foreign investment. Some माने India so unilaterally terminate लोइन तोगरे कोई लेवल investment treaties में हमसे and barely signed a handful of inconsequential BITs in the last decade or so को. India so उसे domesticating IIL से follow तोड़ना बहुत नरी but unlike South Africa कोई legislative तोड़री को. अदर हुजिक तोड़ मथौ ताज़ India की approach यों हुजिक लेडीज़ को delegalization of international economic law other countries in the domestic adjudication for trade and investment matters at the cost of international law and India gi action terminating investment treaties BIT terminate tawri se and aduga FTA kano the huzik anoba investment protection ka yauk se it seems tantamount to delegalizing or moving away from binding IIL ko aduni domesticating or delegalization of IIL se India hana pre 1991 irada la abra ka investment ditar tawno la abra ka aduni ma hangi ko Hoi tawba tai South Africa ye process dum pan be ko next si je ai phajana yare kasu exam si the question hang out next two important articles si ga si han yeng je tri junction problem India China bu the context to khatang hara ga to graph si khatani maru is sai just ane samjal hara ke ko doklam issue lai dana ko nahan je Bhutan China border engagement matang ne headline mem lai aduda statement issue tawba Bhutanese Prime Minister Mr. Shering Nako. Man a PB statement not differing interpretations like from the perspective of Bhutan, from the perspective of India, and from the perspective of Beijing. Bhutan ki media na hai kingdom, Bhutan kingdom say they have an equal claim in negotiations as India and China. Sigi negotiate no one of the Doklam issues border issues. Emphasizing the limitations of the small state caveat that overburdens strategic discourse in South Asia. India dana kai hai among China na mogi Bhutan ki Amochu river में the villages construction में am तो उड़ीसा हाइनिंग इसे अदुगा यानहान agreement का लेना ग्रेसे Bhutan ना China दा territory खरा set तो उड़े इसे इंडिया की media दा claim तो इसे meanwhile China की media ना claim तो इसे क्या ना कोई Bhutan का China की boundary demarcation formal demarcation तो मतलब दा India is the main obstruction है इसे को अदुन ना कोई सीधे के खंगबो ngami natural border amagi strategic articulation to matamda foreign policy to matam there are a lot of ambiguities lack of clarity ko mountain pass kamai to ba frontiers kamai to ba routes anti routes adwaina ko aduni adu maru oina sida Chumbi Valley se sigi ko man si je frontier mountain frontier ni or is ko si the Bhutanese route ni Tibet ki ko and is a short and easy route to open communication lines with Tibet ko Chumbi Valley se yamna keno oiba Koina Chumbi Valley they analyze to understand the controversies associated with China Bhutan border agreements ko aduga see agreement of the principle ani like Thalweg principle and the second is the water parting principle ko Thalweg doctrine has the ken har kanda map making to the rivers ki lowest point se boundary ke adu duna central point orga to bochini adu detail oina khang bai di mathau ta de second water parting principle has na ken har kanda territory ma identify to matamda concern watershed amagi yaw matamda boundary se highest elevation yengbudo adai torkadone sine ko sumaina dispute khar leire aduga sida hari se ken hoi aduna sumaina different interpretation le bisina issue du su leire dana ko sida ama parliament foreign secretary koi 2017 doklam stand off leire kanda foreign secretary na issue to statement ko ministry of external affairs ko China gi the commitment number remind to the court the tri junction to matamda there has to be India China agreement on the working mechanism and consultation coordination which was the 15th round of Sino-Indian Special Representative Dialogue to 2012 ko or tri-junction and consultation but yaw de China na mo hai je adu ge SR do discuss to matam da tri-junction consultation chidi yaw 12 released press release to the kem ta pande na tra adu ga moi hai je 2012 ta legi ba understanding do keno ne chini adu dana keno natte that 1890 convention duni ka smaina khara lai re ko adu na man si hai je open communication channel oi mathau tai hai adu bo hai je bai wani a very keno ni oi dise si ani se hapet palang yam phase moi pede opinion che ko nahan ji PIB gi fact check unit na keno to ne han ko fake news misinformation identify to ne hai ko adu ma hai se central government gi authority na unbridled power oina as a righteous gatekeeper oi se is not a sign of a functioning democracy ko adu ma hai se recent years ta private fact checking organization myam lai moi dadi ideological leaning lai bana te adu na moi na to han bai yai sin ko sigisna akoi athlete sing hateful trolling to boy moi mental health su mathok tai na ko mental health ya maru oidana performance ke India the cricket players sing idol lie don ning na rini adubu at the same time they are troll and abuse ko failure have a sports person namgi punchi da ko it's a part of daily life on a sports fan na si khangbi ke dong ne bo next the blue economy matang da ni sida hai se India se we must learn from China and aduga deep water fishing fleet invest of mathok tai and modern fishing harvester so that we can transform our fisheries improve relations with neighbors ko Indo ko Sri Lanka dispute am lai ko fishing gi right ki matang da in especially in the Park Strait ko see Park Strait chini water body separate to Tamil Nadu Jaffna region ga Sri Lanka ko adu emotive issue so like long standing oi ko adi complaint am lai China da gi su ko aduna diplomatic tasal furor so like between Colombo and New Delhi ko India ga Sri Lanka ga maritime boundary agreement like 1974 1976 to ko sigi agreement sigi matung inna India ga Sri Lanka gi fishermen se ko moi da kai yanabam leba to enjoy in each other's waters as rights as they have traditionally enjoyed them therein ko moi na han gi traditionally enjoy to ko right to adu dum enjoy to jasano na fishing communities to ko adu ga koina khanga dawdi maritime boundary gi moi physical demarcation leiba nate ko aduna ne nangi fishing activity am issue lei ko and that was also one of the bone of contention during the civil war in Sri Lanka ko which encouraged Indian fishermen to encroach in Sri Lankan waters ko 2009 the hostility loira matung da Sri Lanka gi fishing community na moi gi right sing the reclaim tong no honri adagi amu conflict lai ko adagi Sri Lanka gi navy na intervention lakpa aduga loina na ugly situation am lag re ko India gi Indian fishermen shoot toba phawa khotwa fatal shootings ke level tra adu lai gre aduga loina na hujik se global warming ki ka lakpa fish stock se dwindling or ni handra ni ko over fishing to bodai so adi rising fuel cost lai growing tensions adre moi the acute distress am level adugo loina na high fishing community sing je moi da paisa leite aduna moi gi fishing right se fishing keno se source se Park Strait da confine or ga leba aduna moi paisa su lei jada ko aduna moi gi high sea da explore to bangam da sea going trawler gum lei bangam da ko mane sidam pali 1979 gi book Sea Power the State an ko aduda Soviet Admiral Gorshkov Russian malik ko man hai fishing fleet se state amagi sea power yam maru important component ne siniko and it's also most of the important tasks in consists in ensuring a solution to the acute food problem facing mankind food shortages the fishing can also yamaru oi sini ko fishing fleet labor se adna China na sigi high advice yam serious on low rate high raga moigi idare moigi China gi fishing industry se yam chakhon na hone ko and also because of the rising demand for protein in Chinese diet ko China ji using fishery superpower ni moi the largest deep water fishing fleet like 2016 da China na 38% of the global fish production consumed tawi or protein and profit ani mak ni yeng ise ko aduna moi gi contract myam keno to do sign to ko in exclusive economic zone the fishing tong na ko with other countries like Asia and Africa loina na moi gi fishing fleet ama sa ga maritime militia ama sa ga na zo honari ko India gi perspective de yeng da so fish se yam affordable over rich source of animal protein ni aduga India gi lai ba hunger malnutrition se si su counter to na ba amne one of the healthiest options ne ko adu loina na adubu ning tamba phanga matung India gi fishery marine fishery sector is dominated by artisanal sector ko por small scale fishers natra moida pachali jadaba who can buy small sailboats or canoes to fish for subsistence natra India gi artisanal fishery se only 2% of the marine fish na hai delivered to je 98% ki tore mechanized and motorized craft oi toroga pha bane ba aduga akoi gi pot se traditional activity oina commence torokani aduga hujik tam tamna commercial enterprise to be transform tawno honari ko and also fishing sector is a major contributor of foreign exchange ni akoi yam export to in seafood items hai for forex su kanai dana ko loinana fisheries sector na livelihood supiri to 15 million fisheries and fish farmers at the primary level or job creation twice the number of job creation ko transportation cold storage marketing the fishing industry ka mari lena ba mayam lai ri potential economic aspect ko aduga sigi india se aduga kenoni deep water fleet tabudi yamna keno to business sigi figure sing yam thi yam amba ya sini ko khoina kai gum deep water fleet ta fajana invest tom ta adu to dre dana khoi di ko adu to ma thau ta en hai ni ko and we can compete with those of neighbors ko hojik lai khoi indian fisheries sing yam issue lai je fajana coastal water da confine to leba at the same time nangi pakistan sri lanka gi fishing committee ga competition tong na ban tra aduna kai chup chakho pengam ngam de sini ko aduga khoi gi EEZ exclusive economic zone se under exploit lady fajana exploit to dri ko aduna khoi na exploit to drabani na atopa indo pacific countries sing na moi loi kana lo re sini ko because they have better equipped fishing fleets ko and some of them even indulging illegal unregulated unreported fishing IUU fishing hai ko India the mangje sini ko maje and currently huji khoi India gi fishery export se low level of value addition ko without going for ready to cook marine product laite India da aduna India se huji khoi long term vision ama lei sini long term vision ama thau tai to develop our fishing industry with focus on 4 areas. Number 1, mechanization and modernization fajana to mathau tai fishing vessel gi ko at the same time communication link fajana provide to electronic fish detection devices aduga moi the funding fajana pb ba artisanal fisheries lai ba sing da second deep water fishing fleet develop to ko with bigger sea going trawlers ko equipped with refrigeration facilities third the deep water fleet lai ba ko mothership concept dwaina saba within a large vessel fuel medical onboard preservation processing facilities fajana piba adugi infrastructure facility do iro with the development of modern fishing harbors saba ko cold storage yaba preservation fish packaging government 2020 da pradhan mantri matsya sampada launch togre ko si flagship scheme ni for sustainable development of India's fisheries sector sida thada is 20,000 crore ni sahi manga gi ko aduga loina da akoi Indo Sri Lanka fishing cooperation adumaina si makhada sagre ko si yojna makhada aduna sigumba fishing harbor sing ja koi develop tabu mathok tai loina na bilateral relation da lai unwanted irritants fam se lothok par tai chine so that we can send a positive message of sagar ko security and growth for all in the region sini hai je so ngasi gi sida lo shalasi